Hey guys, Midway Piper back with you today. I got a new pipe. Not as anywhere near as exciting as one of the Harriet pipes, but I got a new pipe. Am I super excited about it? A little bit less now that I got it. But more on that in a second. What I am smoking today though is Dan Tobacco's Sweet Vanilla Honeydew. This is a blend that Piper X1X has been was raving about as being a really good blend. It sounded intriguing, so I bought it, and I am not disappointed. This is a pretty tasty tobacco. Now, pardon me while I relight. Probably should have let it dry out a little bit more before, but time is limited. So what's the new pipe? It's this one. This is Missouri Meerschaum. This is their Dwarf Cobbit. And I've always been intrigued by this pipe. It's part of their Corncob Hobbit series. And I really wanted one. It's a smaller bowl on it, as you saw. I'll show you more in a second. Smaller bowl. And one thing that really turns me off from the Missouri Meerschaum line are those cheap plastic bits. And every time I saw they had a release of the Dwarf Cobbits with any other kind of stem, they were always sold out right away. So I was looking at something on their website, and I saw they had a new release. So I jumped on it. This is a acrylic stem. Kind of cool. Much better than that cheap looking plastic nonsense. Now, I said this tobacco doesn't want to stay lit. Probably partly the new pipe. Also, again, I should have let this dry a little bit. All right. So why am I less excited about now that I got it? Number one, the I don't know if you'll be able to see that at all, but that is not centered. Not that it's a big deal, but it's off center a bit. And the other thing, that's fine. Obviously, it smokes okay. The other thing that a little disappointing, you can see this is a pretty small bowl, which is fine. I knew that going into it. But I would say about the bottom quarter or so of the bowl is lost due to the, what do you call this part? I guess the tenon shoots out like a quarter of the way into the bowl. So you're really only getting 3/4 of this already small bowl to fill with tobacco. So that's a little disappointing. The glue work on it is pretty rough, not great looking. That's kind of disappointing as well. Now, if this was a Legend or, you know, $10 pipe, that's fine. This one was $35 on their website, which, again, you know, for a pipe, it's still pretty cheap. But for a Missouri Meerschaum, I would have expected slightly better quality than that on a $35 pipe from them. Again, can't complain too much. It's still only $35, but I'm still happy to have gotten my Dwarf Cobbit. Why did I want the Dwarf Cobbit? There's days where I don't have much time between jobs and a bigger bowl is not an option. I got this to be a aromatics pipe, so I do tend to enjoy aromatics to a degree, but I very frequently get some degree of tongue bite with them. So I didn't necessarily want a huge bowl for that. Not having much luck keeping this lit today. Let's try tamping that down a little bit and see if that makes it any happier. So before I relight it again, I'll show you guys the other side of the stem. It's pretty cool looking. I'm a pretty big fan of it. So that's that. Other thing I wanted to mention today is something about our medical system here in the States. And maybe this isn't how it is for those of you that live in the States in your area. Over the last several years, a lot of these medical groups have bought each other out. I think over the last 2 or 3 years, my medical center has been bought out by 3 different companies. And these big ones come along and they buy up each other, and they buy up a hospital, and service gets worse and worse each time they get bought up. Now, I saw this with my son's doctor. He's a good doctor. I like him. I don't like the practice, though. There is absolutely no way that I could call in and talk to his pediatrician's office. They don't have a phone number. Can't reach them. If we want to set up an appointment, if we need something from the doctor, we have to call the number for the practice, and we get connected to a call center, essentially, for the medical group, and we have to tell them what's wrong, and they'll tell us if they can squeeze us in or not. And a lot of times the answer is yes. Last time my son was pretty sick, we wanted to bring him in. We were told they didn't have any appointments. And I was in the area, so I just dropped in. I talked to the receptionist, and they said, "Yep, we've got a space. We can take him in an hour." So, lesson learned. If we need the doctor to fill out some forms or whatever, we want some results, we need to get something from the doctor, we can't call the office and ask the doctor for the results. It's kind of frustrating. So there's that. Now, you guys might remember a couple weeks ago, I had a cold. I kind of went on hiatus a little bit because I wasn't gonna come out here and smoke it, feeling the way I was. And I got over that. And then for the last week or so, it's like almost all the symptoms are back. It's a lot of draining. Lost my voice the other day. Been using nasal sprays and taking medicine and all that multiple times a day. So I called today. It's getting old. Maybe a sinus infection. So I called today to see if I could get an appointment. My doctor. And they're normally pretty good about it. So I called this morning soon after they opened, and I asked for an appointment. And they said, nope, we don't have anything today. Okay, cool. I get it. It's a Monday, right? Everybody's calling in after the weekend wanting appointments. And they said, let me see when the first available appointment is. So they checked, and they said, we can see you tomorrow. Perfect. Whatever it is, I'll make it work. Well, the appointment that they have tomorrow is what they're calling a same-day appointment. And what that means is I can't book it today. They said, call back tomorrow morning to get the appointment. And I said, but I'm on the phone with you now. And you have an opening tomorrow. So why can't I just book it today? Why do I have to call back tomorrow when I'm on the phone with you now? And you have the opening. And they said, nope, it's a same-day appointment. Can't book it today. You have to call back tomorrow morning. We suggest you call right when we open, and hopefully the appointment's still available. The hell does that mean? You can't book an open appointment for the next day. I don't know if any of you guys have had any of that the same issue. If you have, let me know so I know it's not just a local practice issue here. But that was really frustrating. Now, I don't want to be a complete asshole to the receptionist. I'm sure it's probably something that's completely out of her hands. I'm sure there's actually something in their booking setup that won't allow them to pre-book the day before. That's just kind of crazy. Now, I don't go to the doctor very often. Maybe once a year, twice a year tops. But that's a huge turnoff. Now, my first thought is, maybe I should go find a different doctor. The problem is that they're all owned in the area by one of two medical groups. There's the one that I go to, and there's a medical group my son goes to. And I've seen how that plays out. So, just a very frustrating scenario. But, yeah. Interesting problem to have. This tobacco is pretty good. It's feeling a little higher in nicotine than I was expecting for an aromatic. So I'm actually pretty glad I put it in a small bowl like this. But it's a pretty good smoker now that I actually got it going. This new pipe. I wasn't expecting this until tomorrow. So I got here a day early, which is good. I didn't expect that from when you order from smoking pipes. Always comes a day earlier than expected shipping. Country Squire. I don't think I've ever got a package from them earlier than a scheduled date. And this came directly from Missouri Meerschaum, so that worked out well. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this pipe. I was going to break out my Nording today. Ponderosa Piper was smoking his Nording on his video yesterday, and I haven't smoked mine for a while, so I was thinking I'd break that out. But when I got home and saw this in the mailbox, I change of plans. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty short video today. I ordered some new sets of books yesterday, so those will probably be here for next Saturday's Pipes and Books. So I'll show you what that is when that comes in. Yeah, it's interesting to see a lot of the comments on that last one. Several of you guys have commented, surprised by the number of books I get through on a weekly or monthly basis. And yeah, I do quite a few audiobooks. And I tend to listen to those when I'm at work, so I get through those pretty quickly. But yeah, that's kind of what I tend to do in my free time. Not that I have much of it, but when I do find some free time, I generally try to sit down and read some. So I just picked up a trail camera today. Been seeing some glowing eyes when I shine my flashlight back by my chicken coop at night. So I'm curious to see what's hanging out back here. I know there's coyotes back here. I hear them at night quite often. And so I'm just kind of curious to see what's actually creeping around in the woods back here. So if I get anything good on that, maybe I'll just post some pictures on the channel just so you guys can see what's creeping around out here. I set up an electric fence around my chicken coop maybe a year ago. I had a bear that came in and tore through my fencing and killed several of my chickens. So I set up an electric fence, and that seems to keep a lot of the bigger critters out. So that's kind of taking care of itself. But and I don't see any signs that anything's actively trying to get into the chicken coop, sizable at least. But yeah, kind of cool to see what's going on back here in the woods. So all right, that's pretty much it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Don't see too many videos on YouTube about the dwarf cobbet, so I figured I'd put one out there for anybody that's searching or interested in these pipes. I believe they still have some of these with the cool acrylic stem on it on the Missouri Meerschaum website, if anyone is interested. But again, it is a smaller bowl. So, all right, that's it. I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Have a good one.